Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Susan LoPresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. This is the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan LoPresti, and today I'm super excited about my guest today. Her name is Candice Ramsey. Candice is a holistic healer and a coach. She's the founder of Mahogany Coaching and Mahogany Energetic Wellness. With a deep psychological understanding of human behavior, she combines her therapy expertise with certifications in Enneagram, also Myers-Briggs, and emotional intelligence to help introverted women step into their full power. With her experience as a talent and organizational development leader, she has coached hundreds of women, guiding them to embrace their unique strengths and to live with authenticity. Her own journey, shaped by learning to align with her natural style of being, drives her passion for empowering others to break through self-limiting patterns, live with ease and alignment, and lead more fulfilling lives. Today, she is dedicated to helping women who feel unseen, misunderstood, and or undervalued to reclaim their power in interpersonal relationships, leveraging the insights of the Enneagram to achieve transformative results personally and also professionally. Candice is also a Reiki practitioner, sound healer, and meditation teacher. Candice knows the power of holistic wellness and loves to spread the power of healing and self-care for mind, body, and soul. So without further ado, I am super excited for you to meet Candice. So Candice, thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate you being here. And let's dive into this powerful topic today.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it as well.
You're welcome. So let's begin at the beginning. And what got you into this line of work that you're doing currently?
Oh, yes. So I got into this line of work because I am the person that I help. So I work with introverted women, primarily trying to navigate an extroverted world. And when I say that, a lot of the women that I help, it's in their career, it's in their, professional life. I was an introverted woman trying to navigate a consulting career, which was very extroverted.
Yeah.
And I ran into so many areas where I felt like I was losing myself and losing my identity. And so that's what really got me into the work that I'm doing now.
Okay, great. So what kind of women, so give me like a typical client that comes to you. What is her biggest struggle?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I see is this is a woman that's well established in her career, and she's experienced being passed over by promotions. Oftentimes, women will tell me that they're either talked over in a room or they might say something, but it kind of goes to the wayside and then somebody else says it, whether it's, a male on the team or somebody that's just more extroverted and, somebody that's voice is a little bit louder may say the same exact thing that, my client may have said. And she's like, now it's drawing everybody's attention. Like, what's going on? So those are two of the really big challenges that women I work with face.
Right. So I think it has a lot to do with your presentation, the way you carry yourself, showing confidence.
Mm.
And so the other person said the same thing that she said, but they said it with confidence, with
Right.
and a sense of knowing that this is what it is, where the person who's introverted is a little bit, like very meek about it
Sure.
and
Yeah.
showing insecurity. And so that speaks volumes in itself, right? To be speaking and speaking from a place of insecurity instead of empowerment. And so,
No, yeah, it does. But I'd say that it doesn't make her comment any less valuable.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
But when you're in a conference room and there's men
sure.
in the room as well as women, and men, they're forceful, they have the ego, they have this whole
Yeah.
presence about them. And a
Yes.
lot of times women will feel insecure around
Correct.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's all about presence.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I know that you work with an Enneagram and also with Myers-Briggs. So
Correct.
talk about those two programs. I actually did a free test on and am I saying it right? Enneagram?
Enneagram. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So my traits came back as optimistic, adaptable, future focused, and inventive. I didn't get to
Did,
Myers-Briggs.
did you come out as a type 7 on the Enneagram? Is that
Oh,
what the number?
that I don't know.
Yeah. As you're talking about the traits, I'm like, oh, she must be a type 7. Type 7s are visionaries.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's start with that program.
Yeah. So the Enneagram is, I like to call it, it's different from the Myers-Briggs, where Myers-Briggs is a personality assessment. And, it looks at, if you are, how you view the world, if you're more extroverted, if you're more introverted, if you're more sensing, or if you're more feeling, and those types of things. Whereas the Enneagram, it looks at, it's a map of your human behavior.
Okay.
And so it looks at your strengths, your core strengths. It looks at your core weaknesses, and it also looks at these blind spots that we don't often know that we have. I am a type 9 in the Enneagram, which is considered the adaptive peacemaker. And one of my strengths, my core strength, is to be able to see different perspectives. And I like a world of harmony where people get along. And on the flip side of that, my blind spot is that a type 9 tends to be very conflict avoidant, because we want to see a world where there's a lot of harmony and other people can see others' perspectives. When there's conflict, I tend to shy away from that. And so the way that the Enneagram really helps us is by bringing those things to light. There are countless times in my life and in my career and in my relationships where I can honestly say an outcome was because my behavior was conflict avoidant. And had I not been able to identify that and be able to draw awareness to that when I'm going into future situations, and know that I tend to be a little bit more conflict avoidant, it allows me to draw on some assertiveness and know that it doesn't play into my favor to be very conflict avoidant all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how the Enneagram kind of helps us understand our behaviors, our patterns, our traits. Sometimes we can over leverage our strengths, and then our blind spots, they may come out and we might not be aware of them. So I think the Enneagram's a really, really great tool for helping us develop self-awareness, so that we can navigate through the world in the way that we want to navigate the world, instead of allowing our blind spots to take over when we're not aware.
Okay, that's interesting. So if I came out as a 7,
Mm-hmm.
what would be the blind spots of someone as a 7?
Yeah. So the 7 is, I don't know off the top of my head exactly what the word is for your blind spot, but I
Okay.
would say that because 7s are visionaries, some of your watch outs would be risk, right? So you may take a little bit too many risks. So that
Oh,
may be something that you might want to watch out for, because you see the world as full of possibilities and opportunities, and you may not be able to synthesize all of them, and you may try to put your hands in a whole lot of different things. That is if you are a 7. I'm not 100% sure if you are
right.
a 7, but 7s tend to see so much opportunity around. They want to put their hands in a little bit of everything, and so you kind of have to like whittle it down and pay attention to what's really meaningful and what's really important for you.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very broad, and I
Yes.
do need to, yes, that
Yes.
does sound
Yes.
that's interesting. So
Yeah.
now Myers-Briggs, well, let me go back. I
Mhm.
did a test a while ago, and I don't know if it was Myers-Briggs, but I came out as a manifesting generator. Is that
Oh,
Myers-Briggs?
that is not the Myers-Briggs. That's very interesting, though, because I'm also a manifesting generator, and we're only 9% of the population.
And what test is that with? Is that human design?
That is human design.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Yes.
what I
Yes.
thought.
That is human
Okay.
design. And it's so funny. Like I love when I meet, oh no, I'm mistaken. I am a manifester, and that's 9% of the population. And you're
Oh.
a manifesting generator, which means that you have some traits of the generators and some traits of the manifestors. Yeah.
So what is that? So manifest, you create things, you have a vision and you create them. Is that basically what that?
Yeah, so I'm not actually certified in human design, but I do understand a little bit of it.
Yeah,
And human design is so a manifester, my type, we are like ideas come to us, we're creators.
right.
That's how I like to put it. And so, we may kind of seem a little bit off or aloof or kind of in our space, and then all of a sudden we'll like, oh, have this magical idea, and then just start, you know bringing it into existence. So
Right.
manifestors are creators, and yeah, we are
And
the
where does the generator come in to that?
I don't know a lot about the generators or the manifesting generators.
Yeah,
Human design, I would love to learn more about it and read more about it, but unfortunately that's not one of the tools that I'm actually certified in. I
yeah.
don't understand it to a depth to speak to it intelligently.
Okay, so let's talk about Myers-Briggs then. What
Yes.
what is that test about?
Yes. So the Myers-Briggs, the MBTI, that's a very well known, it's one of the older personality assessments. So if you've ever heard somebody, talk about their 4-letter type, for me, for example, I'm an ISFP. And so that means I'm an introverted, sensor, feeler, and what's the P? All right, the P's eluding me right now. I know that the J is a judger, but the P is eluding me right now. But I'm an ISFP. And what that means is where I draw my energy from. So I'm more introverted. I draw my energy from being alone versus my extroverted counterparts who draw their energy from being around other people. And I'm a sensor, and the opposite side of the sensor is the intuitive. And so the intuitives, they see big picture. And so those are the type, if you are in corporate, they are the type that are the strategists usually,
Hmm.
because they can see a large vision. Whereas the sensing types, we pay more attention to detail, and we tend to be more on the execution side. So you probably see more sensors in maybe like operations,
Yeah.
where you might see more intuitives in maybe the C-suite, typically, because they are more big picture. And then the thinker and feeler are the next letters. I'm more of a feeler. That one's a little bit more self-explanatory than the other ones. The feelers do tend to be a little bit more in tune with human interactions, whereas the thinkers tend to be very analytical. So
Yeah.
you might see a lot of feelers in like HR,
I
where
was in HR and I feel like I am a feeler.
yes, yes. And then the thinkers, they find themselves in things like finance, or, they might find themselves doing like a statistics role or something like that. And then why is the P eluding me right now? But anyway, the last one is, perceiver. That's what it is. I'm like, why
Oh,
is P eluding me? Judger or perceiver. And so the judger and the perceiver. So judgers tend to be a little bit more, I like to think about it let's think about if you go on a trip and if you travel, like, are you more of the type where you'll kind of live out of your suitcase, and then, maybe by the third or fourth day of the trip, you're like hanging stuff up in the closet and doing things? Or are you somebody, as soon as you get to your hotel room, you open a suitcase, you hang your garments up, you set up the sink? So if you think about it like that, Judgers are the type that's going to hang up their garments right away. They're going to lay all the things out on the sink, and they're going to like make themselves at home
That's my
before they go out.
husband.
Yeah. So he's probably a judger in his Myers-Briggs. And then the perceivers are kind of like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it.
That's me. The last day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So now this is interesting because you use these two programs in your coaching program to
Correct.
help women.
Yes.
So give me an example of how, and do you use both for a person, or do you pick and choose which program to use?
So typically, so my core tool is the Enneagram. That's
Okay.
fine. So my coaching, I created a 6-pillar framework, and I use that framework, and your Enneagram type informs some of the questions and how we go through coaching based on my 6-pillar framework. The Myers-Briggs, I will use that primarily as an adjunct tool.
Okay.
And so if there's something that I want to know about, how you work or how you view the world, or, what type of lens do you see a particular thing through, then I'll offer the Myers-Briggs, because that can give us insights that the Enneagram may not be able to give us. But the Enneagram, every single client that comes through my program, they will get an Enneagram. I also tend to use the Myers-Briggs a little bit more in corporate environments.
Yeah.
Because companies, when they want to do like a group training, they are more familiar with the Myers-Briggs than they are the Enneagram.
Yes.
And once they're introduced to the Enneagram, they love it. I think most people, when they're introduced to it, it illuminates so many things that they're like, holy smokes, I feel like this report is reading my soul from the inside out. And so people tend to fall in love with the Enneagram, but it's less known than the Myers-Briggs is. So a lot of organizations, they may request the Myers-Briggs.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I was first introduced to
Mm-hmm.
Myers-Briggs, is when I was working in corporate. I was in corporate for like 27 years and
Mm-hmm.
in HR. So I did hear of that one. Graham, I've heard of recently, but I wasn't too sure about it, and I wanted to take the test. So that's
Yes.
where I came out. So now, what kind of coaching programs do you have? Do you do group coaching or individual, or a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. So right now I put my group program on pause. I had a group program, but I'm starting to realize that a lot of the women that I work with, they like that direct one-on-one coaching, because when I was running my group program, I only offered 3 one-on-one sessions. And so we met as a group, and then that direct one-on-one interaction with me, they only got 3 of those. And I started to realize that my clients, they like that special, white glove service, and they like that the coaching is tailored specifically for them. So I put that group program on hold. And now what I offer is a program called Path to Clarity. And that's a 3-month coaching package. We meet for 6 sessions, and we go through each one of the 6 pillars that's in my framework. And then we coach through, and it's so all encompassing. So the pillars are leading, being, thinking, feeling, doing, and why is it always one? It's every single time. Oh, communicating. So as you can see, it's so holistic. Like it touches on every part of your being, right? How you lead, how you think and take perspective, how you communicate with others, even how you regulate your emotions, and how you utilize emotional intelligence to understand how other people, may be feeling. And so we go through all parts of the person within that 6 pillars. And the Enneagram informs some of how you might perceive, So when I think about the way that I think, being a type 9 and knowing that I see the world as a harmonious place, or the ideal state is for me to see the world as a harmonious place, that definitely informs the way that I think about how people, interact in interpersonal relationships, and about how people might, interact in a corporate environment, and how I might see fairness or unfairness and things like that. So our types definitely inform how we move through those 6 pillars. And then we uncover some blind spots. We help come up with strategies to overcome some of your challenges. So it's a very, very well-rounded program.
I
And then
feel
some clients, I may integrate some of my energy work in it, because I'm also a Reiki practitioner and a sound healer as well. And so
okay.
some, if they're extremely overwhelmed or are dealing with a lot of stress, we may integrate some sound and some Reiki into the sessions as well.
So you're doing a one-on-one, so you may do Reiki on this person, and this,
Right.
what'd you say, sound therapy?
And yes, so
So
sound healing.
tell
Yes.
me about that.
Yeah. So sound is such a magnificent, way of healing. And it uses, crystal alchemy bowls.
Okay.
And well, I use crystal alchemy bowls. There's also some frosted bowls that don't have additional
Yeah, they,
gemstones in them. And then
right,
you play the bowls, or I play
right.
the bowls. And based on the bowl that I'm playing, because they all have different notes, different tones, and they may target different parts of our endocrine system.
Yeah,
They may target different parts of, our chakra system. And so the bowls, they can put off profoundly relaxing. It can put you into a state of relaxation, which can help regulate your nervous system. And it can also help, some of my clients, they may have trouble sleeping because they have so much going on, at work and with their spouses, and just, life. When life starts to really like weigh on you, it
yeah.
can impact your sleep quite a bit. And then the bowls, they can help put you into a state of relaxation and help you be able to sleep better. And it has tons of benefits, but that's just an example of how it may be used with a client.
Right. So there's different bowls for different needs.
Correct.
Okay. And I've seen it. I was in a Reiki, it was on Zoom, a Reiki class. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end,
Mm-hmm.
she did the bowls.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, I went into a sleep like I never, and when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I feel so well rested. And it
Yes.
was probably like 15 minutes.
Yes, it's such a magnificent way
Yeah,
of, healing. It can heal emotional wounds. It can help you with sleep. It can help you just release tension and stress. And so there's a lot of technique with playing the bowls. I have about 10 of them with different notes, different crystals, different alchemies. And there's a lot of science behind it. So how you play the bowls can take a client into a theta brainwave state, or a delta brainwave state. And so it's such a, I encourage people, if you've never experienced it, to try it out, because it's such a great way to, it's a great thing to experience, even if you only do it once.
right. And so you're certified in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
That,
so I do those even without the coaching. So I do group sound baths, I do corporate sound baths,
oh,
and
excellent.
I do individuals as well. So if an individual client, is, maybe have something that they might be struggling with, then I can just do a 1 hour individual sound bath with that person.
Wow, that's great. I see, I just lost my train of thought because I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you. Oh, do you find that most of your clients, women only is who you work with?
So with the coaching, I find that I do work with men. However, my ideal client is a woman, because I
Yeah.
find that the things that I help with, women tend to face those challenges a bit more. And with the sound baths and the Reiki, it's gender agnostic. So,
Yes.
men also experience stress and overwhelm and all of the things. But with the coaching, my ideal client is a woman. But if a gentleman has the same issues, I help everyone. Yeah.
So it's a woman who's a professional of,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah, my ideal client is typically a professional woman who is either introverted or has introverted traits.
yeah. Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share about your business?
Well, I think that I'd like to share that I think everybody can use some form of grounding, whether it's through coaching, whether it's through sound healing, whether it's through Reiki. I think that a common misunderstanding is that kind of like therapy, where you have to be defunct in an area in order to participate in some of these things. But yes, we help with challenges, but we also help, bring you to a state of reaching your fuller potential.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to be in a state of despair in order to get some of these services. So that's the first thing that I'd like to say to your audience is everybody can use some type of coaching, sound healing, or Reiki. If you've never experienced it, try it out. It's a way of really, really embracing who you are.
Yes.
Um,
I've been a Reiki practitioner for about 5 years now, and I recently got certified as a Reiki master.
Oh, I love
And
it.
I,
Yes. So now you can train others.
yes, yes. And not only that, but I do it, my family members and my dog. My dog loves me. And I see a difference. I mean, it's incredible. So,
Yes. I tried to do Reiki on my dog. He doesn't sit still. He's a terrier. And every time I try to give him Reiki, he's just like, oh, mom, pet me.
yes.
It's a little hard, but I do it for my plants. Definitely around the house. And my kids are in their 20s now. So they're like, yes, mom, Reiki me.
Yes, my daughter does the same thing. So, Candice, where can people find you?
Yes. So I can always be found on my website, which is mahoganycc.com.
Okay.
mahoganycc.com. And then I am on all of the social platforms, which can also be found on my website. I'm on
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Okay, great. And I will put all of that information in the show notes so they'll be able to find you. And if anyone is interested in having a coaching session or sound bath or Reiki, they can find you and we could take it from there. So
Indeed.
I appreciate you coming on today. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah,
And I love the work that you're doing. Keep on doing it, and I wish you the best of luck in the future, and come back on.
I will. Thank you so much for having me, Susan. This was a great conversation.
You're welcome.